Call meeting to order. Minutes of the previous meeting held October 27th.
I have one correction. In the third paragraph down, when Mr. Barrett welcomed Mr. Sperling, the spelling was incorrect. It should be ER instead of IR. So.
Also, I think you might have misspelled Gus's last name wrong.
Yeah. Good catch. Could be a KOS.
Okay, any other amendments, corrections? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
I'll second the motion.
The motion to approve the minutes. Second, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Purchase orders.
Okay, on your list you show one item, and that's the Dixon Engineering. That's to do the engineering for the design and repainting of the water tank. I talked to Jim Clevenger, and they do not get into the realm of designing new tanks. If we ended up getting into that, we'd have to get a different engineering firm, and the cost would escalate substantially. So we're just going to go ahead and repaint what we got, make the modifications, and move forward. That tank, he said, is in sound condition too. It should last another 50 or 60 years yet. So. The other thing too that you don't show on your PO list is I added it here. I got to get a PO tomorrow or Wednesday rather for Pulse Technologies. In our 2001 business plan, we want to buy a new billing inserting machine for the envelopes. Well, this thing is on its last legs. And if we ordered it now, they would bill us in January once the business plan has been approved to approve that purchase. That's an amount of $18,479. Today, the axle inside here broke, and we've been having gear problems with it, so it's 5 to 6 years old. It's time to replace it. When you run 30-some thousand bills through there a month, it's time. So.
All right. Any questions? Bad debt list. Wow. What'd you guys do? That's a small number since I've been on board.
Yeah, well, I got my thoughts on it, but anyhow, it's a 6-month write-off, so. And again, as you can see, 2 of them are tenants and one is the owner, so.
Alright. I'd like to make a motion on that.
I'll make that motion to accept it for record-keeping purposes only.
Second.
Motion second, that we accept the bad debt list for bookkeeping purposes only. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, review the water main extension policy. New legislation.
I sent this to you, and I sent you the existing policy with changes that Christian, our rate attorney, and I put together in here. It's kind of going back the way we used to do it. Years ago, when somebody paid for a main extension, we gave them 4 years meter revenue back in an 8-year period. And the legislators and the IURC kind of went back to that, but now it's based on 3 years of average meter revenue for residents in a 3-year period. So they get 36 months of credit back on a main extension, which isn't a lot, but it's something. The other thing too, and I sent you a sketch on this thing, it'll apply to all buildable lots and people who tap in that subdivision. But in the event you go, and I just showed this as an example. If the water main was down here on Old Grand Beach Road and we had to come up this blue line where there's no lots, if a developer developed this as a subdivision, we would have to take this lot, this line here, and divide that equally into 100-foot lots, and he would also get allowed to be paid back 3 years of meter revenue for each lot, based on an average. Luckily, we're up here, and that won't happen, so, and then any main extension that's over the size that's required to serve the subdivision, say it's a 6 or an 8 inch, anything above that, it would be our cost, 12, 16, 20, 24. We would have to absorb that cost for that. So it's not that we can do it, it's gonna be a trial and error to get back into this scenario. This afternoon I sent you a couple scenarios on this thing too. And I talked to Christian Mack on it as well. I used Whitefoot Trail as an example because we just took this over from Michiana, and there's 20 homes and lots along Whitefoot Trail that either have water or don't have water. And the houses that have water, they're built from a long straw from the Michiana main on the north side of Michiana Drive, across the state line, and then down Whitefoot Trail. My question to him is, can we charge those people for main extension even though they got water? He says, absolutely. So that was a plus. The other thing that we can do,
Are they getting our water?
they're getting it from Michiana.
Right, but from us originally?
Yeah, it's going through their meters, not ours.
Yeah.
But, and this is something we want to eventually get off of their system, and there's going to be a few more once we go further east down Michiana Drive. But what I wanted to talk to Chris Janak about is that with people that have water now from Michiana that maybe paid for a tap, my question to him was, can we actually charge them yet for a main extension? He says, absolutely. So we can apply, this is scenario can apply to all 20 homes and lots out there. So it makes it better because everybody splits cost evenly, and it would be better for them and us. So we can do what we need to do. With the new law too, we can also include the labor. So we can quote them the cost for the materials and the labor, give them an idea what it's going to cost with the credit of the meter revenue for the 3 years, and that's what they would kind of base their payments on. But we could make it even better for the customer if we want to absorb the labor cost, as we do now, and just charge them for the labor and then give them the 3 years credit. It would make it better for them. I kind of favor that. And the reason I say that is I think we can grow the system better, and we can get better water quality out to these people and get more customers to come aboard by doing that. We can redo some of these estimates, we're going to have to. But Whitefoot, there's a lot of people calling now because we're working in that area down Michiana Drive to tie that Red Wing Drive over. So I think Whitefoot Trail would be a good one to try. But more recently, with the one with John Lamb out on Whippoorwill and Trail Creek, that may be, because we'll have to redo that. Instead of a 12-inch main pouring that, we'll do it with an 8-inch, and then we can do the 3-year average revenue and see how that pans out, and maybe we can get 14 customers started out that way. So it's going to be a case-by-case basis on how we do this. But going to the policy then, if you look at what I highlighted here, Christian indicated we could take that out if we definitely was going to give the credits up front. However, after thinking about this a little bit more, I think we should leave that paragraph in there.
Which one are you talking about?
It would be in section 3 where it says refunds. Here, Ken, so it's highlighted yellow.
2 point, you just passed it, I think.
Got it.
Yeah, he's got it. I think
That
that's
if
it.
we don't give the credits up front,
That was it.
or decide that we're gonna do that and then pay it over time, we need to leave that in there. And maybe it would be a good thing, so that in the event we can't afford to give the credits right away, we can do it over time, spread the cost out. I think we should leave it in there. That way we got the option of how we wanna do it. But I think the policy will work for us. I could give you the reasons why it was changed, but I would prefer not to. So anyway, it's just the way it is, and the state legislators changes these laws. The IURC adopted them as far as the administrative code goes, and we have to follow them because we are regulated. So I thought it was working fine before, and it probably never had any problems with it, but I think we should side with the law and do it the way they're requiring us to do it. That way, there's no question, if we got a complaint, at least the IURC would side with us in this case. So that's it. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to try and answer them.
They pay up front and then we refund them?
Yeah, what we'll do is we'll quote them like we normally do. We can tell them how much the price for their lot or their home will be. They pay that up front, and then once the project is done, we will either credit them or bill them the difference, and then start the refund process. We can credit them right away, or just start a.
We just give them free water?
Well, primarily that's the way it would work. Yeah. I think what we would end up doing is putting that credit on their bill as it's only about $1,100. And then what they would do is when we bill it, we'd automatically deduct what their monthly bill would be. So it might be 3 years, it might go a little faster depending on how much they use. So.
And I assume this is transferable? If they sell the house?
I don't know that. It's basically, this is a developer-driven statute. So if a developer was building a subdivision, yes, they would have to continue on with the developer. With a landlord or a house homeowner or something like that, I would say it'd probably have to be transferable. That's the way we did it in Potawatomi Park when we did that. If people moved out, they would have to continue what they had to pay on that lot. It goes with a lot, not so much with the person. So.
A lot to digest here.
It is, and that's why I wanted to get Chris Janak involved. I don't think he likes it either, but I think once we get into it and we start utilizing it and getting used to it, it may work out to our benefit. We just have to try it and see.
Okay. Is the long-term plan to take over Michiana?
Well, we got, not Michiana, Michigan. That's in Michigan. We're not gonna do that. But this section that we're looking at now is on the east side of Michiana Shores. It's called Michiana Park, and there's people out there that would like water. So this might give us a way of getting more customers in that area.
Anybody else have any questions? You want to vote on this tonight?
Yeah, probably be a good idea. That way we can start getting things squared away out there with those people that want to see about getting water.
All right, so which scenario are we going? Are you recommending?
It's a policy in itself. I just gave you some scenarios how this would work, so it's gonna apply, the policy will apply to any of those. We just have to do the math here and then recommend what we wanna do when we bring it to the board.
Okay. All right.
Regardless, we still have to follow the new statutes, right?
Right, and then that will be in there. I mean, we'll follow that way, but I mean, whether we can give them the credit up front based on the number of homes, or if it's lots, where, like, if we had to run that 1,300 feet of pipe where there's no lots, and we may not be able to do that right away, we'd have to divide that up and then do it over a period of it would be 3 years of metered revenue, annual average revenue, which could be paid back over a 10-year period. So you figure $1,100 a year for a lot over 10 years. It's it's going to be spread out for a while. And it's not going to be a lot of money.
So we decide that on an individual basis?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, all right.
I'll make a motion to approve the revisions to the water main extension policy to follow recently passed legislation and IURC rules. I'll second it.
All right, there's a motion second to approve the revisions of the water main extension policy. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, consideration for new labor negotiating.
Okay, this was Steve Johnson's last union negotiations for the department that he's been involved with for over 20 years, and other union situations that come up. He recommended this Robert Digma, and I've met him. He's kind of like Steve. He's a nice guy. He's sharp. He's dealt with the union before, and I think it would be in our best interest to use someone who's familiar with the union negotiating process. And if Steve didn't recommend him, then we would have to look for somebody. But I have a lot of faith in Steve. He's done a good job for us over those 20-some years, and he was recommended to us from Jerry Winsky, who was our department attorney back several years ago before he passed away. So
This firm specializes in labor negotiations.
they do a lot of that, yes.
Yeah.
And so it's not like we're going to use them every day or once a month or anything like that. It's when grievances come about that can't be settled in-house that we would have to use them. And then again, when we get into union negotiations, next union negotiation could be 4 years from now. So I don't see them being a big part, but we need somebody with their background to help us when needed.
Are these hourly rates just like the ones that Mr. Johnson was charging?
These may be different.
I have it on the third page.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I don't know. I think these probably are a little bit less than that.
Okay.
So.
Like you also said, you think it's an advantage that we have an out-of-town attorney. We get into litigation.
They're more impartial.
Yeah, makes sense. All right, any more questions or comments? Would like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept this gentleman.
Okay.
Do I need to state his name?
Yeah, why don't you?
Okay. It would be Robert J., is it Dignam?
Dignam, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Let's see. To use attorney Robert J. Dignam for legal counsel when union issues arise.
Right.
How about that?
Perfect.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
There's a motion and a second that we approve the engagement with Robert J. Digman for legal counsel when union issues arise. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Old business?
Working on 421, it's getting done. So that's a sign, good sign. Should be out of there hopefully in a couple weeks.
Okay. All right, anybody else have old business, new business?
I gave you a handout here. It's nothing that needs action, just a series of dates here of what we should do and when we should do it and timing. Kind of falls in when my vacation will start and when Mr. Johnson here will be here to take the helm of filling in for me. So, again, it's just something, a schedule, and give you guys something to look at.
All right, anything else?
Yeah, Brian Merrill from Harbor Trust was going to plan on being here tonight and go through the quarterly trust report from Harbor Trust. However, the policy is kind of on a lockdown situation due to COVID. So he sent this to me. It's for your reading and review. If you have any questions, please get them back to me and I can forward them on to him for clarification and answers. So, pension plan is doing well, the best I can tell you. You know, I give you that weekly or report of how our funds are doing. They're up and down. Right now, we're good for the year. We're almost $1.2 million, and up 10.5% that it's increased since last year. So our funds are doing really well. That's the main thing. And our funds has been fully funded for a number of years now, which is good because we don't have to pay into the thing. Our funds are covering the trustees' expenses and it's covering all our pension costs that we need to involve.
Okay. All right, anything else?
Tomorrow's Veterans Day, so salute all the veterans.
We close.
Absolutely.
Yes, we are.
All right, public comment? Director comments? No. Someone like a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second it.
All right, motion second to adjourn, all those in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.